Austin's reputation as one of the safest big cities in the U.S. is being challenged by the frequency of violent aggravated assaults.
We've already had 2 homicides this year, and neither involved a gun.
There's a big puddle of, blood on the side of the curb.
An Anderson High School senior.
We're trying to put pressure on him.
Bled out in the street.
How could you take somebody's life who was so sweet and so kind to everybody?
A North Austin man
Apparently he went outside to dump the trash.
attacked outside of his apartment. Both men stabbed to death.
Every year, hundreds of people in Austin are threatened or stabbed with a knife or sharp object.
KXAN investigator Brittany Glass wanted to know if this kind of crime is becoming a trend in the city. But Austin police couldn't give us a definitive answer.
And that has victims and their families asking why.
12 people have been stabbed to death in Austin in just the last 3 years. And there are several things many of the cases have in common. Police data we obtained reveals 30% involve family violence, 40% involved alcohol, and 60% involved drugs. That includes a woman repeatedly stabbed in the head until she died in 2017. Austin police shot her attacker, but they could not save her. And tonight, her son agreed to speak exclusively to KXAN about her murder for the first time, calling attention to a serious danger in our community that's tough to track.
Jay Lindsay has only a couple of photos of his mother, Andrea, and few memories of their time together.
She wasn't around a whole lot of my life, but the moments that she was very special to me.
He says she struggled with depression and gave him up as a toddler. His grandparents raised him.
She did the best that she could. She was a strong woman, and she loved her family, but I know that she had her deal of problems that she was going through.
In recent years, Lindsay says he knew even less about her life.
I knew that she was on the streets and that she was in and out of shelters.
Until her chance to change was taken away.
I just remember just being lost in my head, just trying to get a grip on reality, not wanting to believe the facts of what had happened.
It was a cold, rainy morning, December 2017. Police were called to a North Austin apartment complex where they confronted a man stabbing Lindsay's mother over and over.
I just felt the world just fall out from underneath my feet.
Officers shot the suspect, Aubrey Quinton Garrett. Lindsay's mother didn't survive.
The things that happened to her, nobody deserves.
Investigators say drugs were involved and that the suspect and victim knew each other. In the 10 stabbing deaths between 2016 and 2018,
4 of them are acquaintances, so they're known people, and then 3 of them were family members or roommates.
Each of the deadly injuries caused by the same weapon, a knife.
I think a lot of these, in the heat of the moment, it's just the weapon that's available at that time.
But analyzing stabbing data in Austin isn't easy.
Stabbings we haven't tracked that data, and so it's difficult to know how that number has played out without really taking a deep dive into those numbers.
APD couldn't provide us stabbing numbers directly because their system isn't set up to do that. They had to search their records by weapon, ag assault cases where a sharp object was involved, where someone was threatened or stabbed with anything from a shard of glass to a pencil, or of course, a knife. But without knowing the specific weapon in these numbers, it's impossible to say how bad the problem really is.
It would benefit us to be able to know exactly how many we have, but being able to take a deep dive into that data is going to take a lot of work.
It's work this woman says needs to happen.
I might be one tick on that roster, but I'm still a person.
Katie was stabbed 21 times in Hyde Park in 2015. A stranger, Pearl Moen, attacked Katie. Diary entries found in Moen's home say she wanted to know what it would feel like to kill someone. Katie fought back and survived.
This has made such a big impact on my life. I mean, I still suffer from day-to-day repercussions of what happened.
Katie lived and wonders whether combing through those cases may be the key to preventing more stabbing deaths.
This is going to keep happening unless stabbings that don't always end in homicide are not only accounted for, but they're also taken seriously.
Something has to change. This can't go unchecked because it's just not right.
Stabbing homicides have remained largely the same, with anywhere from 2 to 5 cases each year. When we take a closer look at aggravated assault cases in Austin since 2013, those where a knife or sharp object was listed as the weapon, we can see a general increase in the number of cases, until last year when there was a slight drop. Why is that? Police say it's largely because better quality medical care in our area arguably prevents stabbing victims from dying. Brittany Glass, KXAN investigates.
Jay Lindsay took the witness stand last week as the man who murdered his mother was sentenced to 40 years in prison. Lindsay told Aubrey Quinton Garrett he forgives him and urged him to change his ways, reducing Garrett to tears. His plea deal makes him eligible for parole in 20 years.
Recognizing just how common aggravated assault cases have become, APD created a specialized aggravated assault unit in January with 8 detectives and a sergeant to dive deeper into cases, gathering evidence, conducting interviews, and studying trends. There is another group with the power to change how Austin tracks violent aggravated assaults, Austin's Public Safety Commission. Neither the chair or any other members would speak with us about this issue. It's scheduled to discuss all of the 2018 crime statistics at its April 1st meeting.
Texas lawmakers relaxed knife laws in 2017, less than a month after a UT student stabbed 4 other students, killing freshman Harrison Brown. House Bill 1935 made it legal to carry Bowie knives, like the one used in the attack, and other larger knives, in more places around the state. It changed all references to illegal knife in the Texas Penal Code to location-restricted knives. Knives previously considered illegal are still banned from K through 12 schools and college campuses and other areas like polling places, sporting events, hospitals, and places of worship. Carrying in a location-restricted area is a Class A misdemeanor.
Right now, in the investigative section at KXAN.com, you'll find an interactive map to Austin's last 12 deadly stabbings, laying out each case in detail. The kind of detail the Ag Assault Unit may be combing for as it looks to identify trends and prevent more Austin stabbings.